bit of 50 Cent or something like that, or Snoop Dogg. No.
Not like that. And we're live.
Oh. Hi!
So, yeah. Obviously, first of all, Mr. Hughes is missing and has been replaced by a bottle of Kraken by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, basically, what was he claiming his excuse? That
an abscess, tooth abscess. Get well soon, Jay.
Yeah.
Love you, mate. Miss you.
It's not corona or anything too serious, so should be all right.
No.
It probably helped the angling world if he had a bit of corona and his froze. You just froze there.
You froze as well.
Did I? Nice.
Yeah. It's kind of like brain freeze.
It's like the shock of it. Being very civilised on the drinks. So, first question, and let's have a look who it was actually from. John Palmer on Facebook. What's your best or favourite angling memory?
My best angling memory? I mean, obviously, Fishing Mania, Rich, obviously that ranks right up there, but you know what I'm going to say, didn't you?
Go on.
You know it. It's the Camason for me. Obviously, right back from the early days, the first ever time I qualified for the British Open, getting 20 points, that was amazing. And then obviously to go on to win it, and win it sort of like 3 years in succession, even though the third year I tied with Dean Smith on 52 points. He had more outright wins, so he ended up winning it. But in my eyes, you know, I still won it, if that makes sense. And I got 3 points deducted, so I did win it. So
why did you get points deducted?
Because a match at Cudmore, when it was freezing cold, there was 51 anglers paid, went to the pegs, but there wasn't 51 anglers who were there at the end because it was so cold. It was only like 30 odd, and someone had turned up, counted the amount of people there, and obviously it wasn't what was down on the paper. So it's one of them things, mate.
Was that when it had to be 50 pegs for it to actually count?
Yeah, 50 plus. Yeah. And obviously we used to go in loads, sort of like 45, 46, 48, 49 peggers and all that, and obviously points didn't count.
Nice.
So Camason, mate, I know you always joke about it. You always give me stick for that. Mate, look at the colour comparison. Come into the screen.
Oh, I'm like just pale. I've got lights and everything, so I've not been outside.
Some handbrakes there, didn't you? Hawaiian Tropic, that's what you need, Richard. Yeah, Camasons, mate. Camasons.
So I thought for this one we had, let me give credit again. Who was it? It was someone on Facebook was asking, where's it gone? Can't remember. Oh yeah, Graham Coates on Facebook. If you could design one piece of fishing kit to make fishing better or easier, what would it be and why? So I thought it's probably one of those that we can have a bit of a think about, and we'll come back to it at the end. And if anyone else has got any bright ideas, leave them in the comments, and we'll work our way through them as it comes.
Yeah, through. I like that, Rich.
So going on to the questions on YouTube. Are you?
Yeah.
You keep freezing. I think I get worried. I think you've left me.
I'm not, mate. Do you want me to keep moving so you know I'm not freezing?
I've not got Jamie to kind of fill the gaps if you freeze. I'm on my own.
What are you trying to say about Jamie filling the gaps? How dare you, Rich? He's poorly. He does apologise.
Oh, you went weird again.
I'm still there, mate. I'm still going.
Nice. David McAvoy. What are your views on the chaos of line diameters and hook gauges? Some 015 line is actually 018, and a size 16 hook is the same as a 14 in another brand. Why mislead us? Why, Andrew?
Don't know. Next question. No, honestly, it's one of them. If you're confident in something, then obviously it's going to work for you. I think, obviously, if you understand that the hooks are, you know, not the stated size of what they should be, but then again, who knows? Who knows what a 14 should look like? All companies differ. And it's the same with line as well. You know, some are bang on, some are a little bit out. If you're confident with that product, then use it. You know, it's just one of them things, isn't it, Rich? What do you say, mate?
Yeah. Carper? Well, it's hard to actually get to get the whole industry to agree on anything is a nightmare.
You're never going to do it, especially in that channel as well.
Yeah, so I think it just comes down to like finding what you like and sticking with it and working out how that works for you.
It's just like baits and things like that, additives, flavourings. If you think they work, then it's up there and it's going to breed into your fishing. We say it a lot, don't we, mate? But it's so true.
Yeah, and it's kind of not swapping and changing every 5 minutes just because something's a bit new and a bit different. It's once
I
you
don't think
know.
there's anything wrong with that, though. Obviously, you've got to try it, but obviously the time for that is when you're pleasure fishing. Definitely not in matches or anything. Don't experiment then.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of them. Most anglers who've been fishing for a number of years will be setting their ways, and they find it very hard to change. I know I'm the same. I don't like change. It takes me a while to cotton on it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Pellet fishing took me like 12 years.
especially like with lines and stuff like that. You know, with whatever line you're using, how hard you can pull on like 013. But if you
100%.
if you suddenly change to a different brand, you could be fishing 013 and it's totally different. So yeah, it doesn't make life easy, but I don't think it's ever going to change. So yeah, just a case of working out what works for you and sticking with it.
Definitely. I always used to use Silstar. I love Silstar Max Team Line or WB Clark, whatever it was. And to try and get me to change off that, which was really hard. But, you know, it's one of them things. I don't really use it anymore now. It was a little bit out, but it just, for all my style of fishing, it was perfect. It was a little bit out in diameter, similar to like Stroth. But the colour just seemed absolutely bang on. And I still recommend it to this day, you know. Even for like Waggler line and that, it was absolutely perfect. It's just a nice line. Very nice.
What are you using now?
I'm using Novatech. I'm using that. And I'm also still using our Power Optics. Still using that.
Yeah. What? Power Optics for hook length?
You're still on that, aren't you, Rich?
No. Well, I kind of changed and I kind of wish I didn't.
Right, what are you going on to?
I went onto that Guru stuff and I'm not
sure.
I
like the Guru stuff.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It's like, because Jake, it was...
Hooks to nylon, mate, come on.
Yeah, hooks to nylon. I don't know, it just feels quite stretchy, but I've not had any problems with it. But yeah, that map stuff was bang on. The only thing, it's a bit on the spool coming off. You have to run your fingers down it and straighten it all out because it's a bit twisted off the spool. Yeah.
Cheeky.
So, but yeah, that was the only thing with that. And I think I just ran out, so I just grabbed whatever's at the shop.
Come and see Uncle Andy, Rich. Come on.
I could order something. I'm just lazy, aren't I? So yeah, moving on from that. Pete Rao, again, YouTube ones. I'll try and work through them this time. Are shallow-kits more suited to F1s, eyed, etc., or would you use them for larger carp as well?
Yeah, we've MAP have just bought out some big bore kits, the short kits, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Predominantly, you're going to be using them a lot for shallow fishing, up to about sort of 13, 14 and a half at the absolute most. And they really do stiffen your pole up. But strength-wise as well, I've been using them, testing them out last year for the carps, and they're just ridiculous amount of strength in them. You can just pull them in one. It's like when you're fishing on a little ledger bomb rod, like an 8 or 9 footer. You must have seen it as well, Rich. Like you can just wind them in until they're right under your feet and just pull up, and they just like plop up in front of you, like what's going on. And it's exactly the same with these short kits. Obviously, they're shorter, so they're going to stiffen your pole up completely, TK, and you just keep pulling, and they're just wobbling up on top. They're amazing. I've got one here actually.
Yeah. But I think
that's a big pull on though. Oh no, it's all going to collapse. I'm not getting it.
Oh, you wrecked it. But yeah, I think.
Don't
touch it. What you were saying on that as well. It's the same with when you carp fishing. If you get a fish in a weed bed or something like that. If you
what bed? A weed. Oh, weed. Go on, mate. Go on.
But if you're above the fish and you pull, it comes straight out. But if you're pulling against it, it's always kind of pulling against the pressure. And it's that as soon as you get the pressure above them, they just pop straight up and they're all confused. But as soon as you're trying to drag them across, they pull against it. So probably the same sort of thing on there.
Okay.
So next one was Shabba Ranks. Any tips?
Shabba.
Any tips on using a feeder on a silty bottom?
Cheeky. Silty, but I mean, you don't really want to be using feeder full stop on silty bottoms. To be fair, obviously, winter time when it all calms down a bit, you get away with it. But that's when, if you allow the paternoster, that's when you want a longer paternoster. So obviously, your feeder can sink into the silt, and then your hook length's on top of it, on top of the silt, so you can get them true bites. But method or hybrid and things like that, pellet feeder, I wouldn't contemplate using that if the bottom's too silty. Simple as that. Just keep coming back or go further over where you can get the hard bottom. What are you saying, mate?
Waggler instead.
Or just use a waggler. It depends, obviously. It's relevant for the time of the year. Teabagging. Have I said that right, Rich?
Yeah.
Did I? But yeah, them PVA bag things and all that works well, doesn't it? Because it's lying on top of the sill, or like a pellet cone that I've demonstrated loads of times.
I think with
things like that.
With stuff like that, a lot it's a case that it kind of slows it down as it's falling through the water as well, doesn't it? So it almost.
What are you on about now? Them little what's it things that you lick and put on your line, Rich? What are you on about, mate?
It's the same. No, but if you've got a PVA bag or a pellet cone or whatever, it kind of acts like a parachute coming through the water. So it just slows it down as it's falling. Obviously, if you've feathered it in, that's slowing it. It'll just sit nicely on top of the sill.
Like that, mate. Like
that. Mad about carp fishing. Why is it when I'm sat on my box, I get sore legs from fishing the pole and a sore bum from sitting there for hours?
Usually, if you're uncomfy in your box, it's because your box is too high. If you imagine your legs, if they're straight, that's perfect. You put your pole over both knees and your box is perfect. If they're at a slight angle and you're having to lift your legs up, so like your foot's crooked, then your box is too high. Obviously, if your legs are like that way, your box is too low. So you want it. So basically, your feet are flat on your foot plate and your legs are nice and straight. If you've got backache or leg ache, then it's because something's not quite right with your box. It's not set up right. It's one of the biggest things I go through as a coach is getting people set up right from the start. They're either fishing miles too high with like loads of stacky units in front of them, or sitting on rather, or they're sitting miles too low, or the box is too high, what have you. Sort it out, people. Usually it's because your box is too high.
So with what you're saying on stacker units as well, what are you looking for? Just to get your legs kind of at 90 degrees, is it that you're aiming for?
Don't go in degrees, Rich. I don't know, mate. You basically want your feet flat on your foot plate like that, and not so you're tilting. You know when you like go on your tippy toes kind of thing to lift your legs up. You don't want to do that.
Your feet flat and then your legs straight and.
So like feet and then legs up there like that, not so you're having to lift your feet up. Whoa, boo!
Go on.
Generation X. Resting for you there, Rich.
Nice. Next one. We're actually blasting through them tonight. Gareth Watson, what would your top tips for meat fishing be?
Don't fish it. Use pellets.
Is that it?
No, it's one of them. Obviously, it's personal preference. But honest to God, I can't remember the last time I fished meat. It must be 3 years ago. A lot of fisheries around here. What's that noise? Is that you?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I heard like a hissing, like a snake's been released or something. What are we on about? Meat. It's probably been 2 or 3 years since I've fished it. It's personal preference, but a lot of fisheries around our way, a lot of fisheries. I sounded a Bristolian then, didn't I? Sorry. They've banned it. They've actually banned meat, so we don't fish it anyway. But pellets is a bait.
Yeah.
This time, well, when we can get back out, you can't beat it. Meat-wise, obviously, it depends on waters that you're fishing. Mushy meat can work really well, with a bit of fish meal over it, and then you're getting a big 6 or an 8 mil cube over the top. That can work fantastically well, but you're going to catch exactly the same on a pile of ground bait with an expander or a worm or something like that over the top. And although it does clean your pole nice, the meat fat and everything,
I don't know.
I just can't remember last time I fished it. It's good for mugging as well, meat, isn't it? I feel as though I'm waffling, Rich. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Go on, you talk.
No, I was going to say on that, what was it one of the winning ways that they do with Jay, where he was on about cleaning it with boiling water?
Yes, he did, didn't he? Put boiling water over the tin. Yeah, I like that.
Like doing that, cutting it all up and cutting it into cubes, and then just cover it in boiling water, give it a minute or two, drain it off, repeat it like 2 or 3 times, and it all sinks a load more evenly. So you kind of
and then chuck it up the bank and fish pellets.
Yeah, pretty much. Just working my way through. Shower Hal. Hi guys. Hi guys.
Hi.
What's the best eyed hooks for banded pellet on the deck?
Eyed as in fish or eyed hooks?
No, eyed hooks like a.
I was going to say, why do you want to fish for eyed on the bottom? Just get me shallow. So an eyed hook from the bottom. Again, a lot of fishing, as you'll know, Rich, it all comes down to personal preference. Personally, I love the Gamma Power. I think they're brilliant. It's like a size 18 or a 16 or something. They're fantastic hooks. But the Guru, the SLWGs, there's loads of them. The new Kamasan ones, these ones.
I want to try them.
They're amazing too. The new Teflon coated one, they're brilliant. it's personal preference at the end of the day, folks. What you've got confidence in, that's what's going to work for you.
Yeah. I'm still on the old school B911s, the non-coated ones.
See, I like them, but when you've used obviously the Guru ones, the Gamakatsus for a while, Rich, honestly, mate, they're a massive difference. They're just like that little bit finer, lighter wire gauge, and certainly for obviously for my game, fishing through the water, they do make a massive difference if it falls a bit slower.
Yeah.
Or slower.
That's one thing. What's the best line to use for feeder fishing, or what do you use? I'm assuming main line.
To be fair, I've always used Maxima, but now I use our stuff. Where is it? I've got it down here somewhere, mate. Do apologise for disappearing, folks. The Optimum, let me get some. Got some in my bag of tricks here, Rich.
You've actually come prepared.
I've got it all. I'm prepared tonight.
Because that...
I use that in like 0.20, 0.22 this time of year. And then for like my waggler fishing or bomb work, I use 0.16 or 0.18 in the winter. But that Maxima, there's so many other lines out there. Diver Sensor's another one I used to use back in the day because you used to get like 1,000,000 yards on the spool. That was a good line. You what, mate?
It was about £3 for like 300 yards.
Yeah, I think it was like £2.99 or something like that. But it all comes down to personal preference. Once you've used something for so long, it's very hard to change. And I've used Maxima for years and years. Ever since Daddy May taught me in like Bay of Pearl and all that back in day, and it's just hard to change, mate. It really is.
Well, it's weird, I don't know. Did you know on that map stuff that was from the same factory that makes Maxima?
Yeah. Obviously, I knew it was like getting made with Maxima in conjunction with. Yeah. So obviously, and it's brilliant stuff. It's really robust, abrasive resistant. It is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's just like an updated Maxima, isn't it? In a nice. I think it's a nice colour, isn't it? Though.
It is a nice colour. It's like bluey, greeny, yellow with purple streaks.
There are.
It's not really.
Alex D is watching from Austria.
It's nice. Go on, lad.
Austria, not Australia.
Oh, no, I did say that, didn't I?
I don't know.
I may or may not have had a drink of Kraken there, Rich.
Medicated Flowers. You get weird names on YouTube. How are you coping with not fishing? Is that it?
You've seen the bog roll challenge, folks. That's how I'm coping. I'm going to chuck it in a thimble tomorrow. That sounded a bit wrong, Rich, isn't it? Chuck it in a thimble. But no, it's obviously it is so important, folks, that you are staying home and more importantly, staying safe. Don't go out. We're all fishermen here. We're all in it for the long game. We're all in the same boat. We all want to get out there, but please just stay home, stay safe. Gone serious, Emily. So no, you like that?
Well,
it's so true.
There's a few fisheries in there that are still sort of still doing the odd matches and stuff, and just like it's just dragging it all on for everyone else at the end of it, isn't it? So. Yeah.
It's just going to last and last. People have, it's just one of them. I mean, look, Boris as well. That's why we're finishing early tonight as well, isn't it, Rich? We're giving a clap for Boris.
Yeah, we've got to finish at like 5 to 8 or something, so we can all run outside and give Boris a clap. But I think
definitely,
it's
so important. We all miss fishing. We all love it. Obviously, that's what we're all in this fantastic sport for. But you've got to do what's right, folks. Just stay home, stay safe.
Nice.
That Kraken's kicking in, Rich.
Don't stop crying. Dave Brown, the one and only, I believe, or the junior one, the two and only. How often does Andy feed when you're fishing shallow?
Oh, right. So it's one of them starting off a session. So a typical match, Snake Lake. So we'll go parties, for example. Start off across, obviously this time of year when we're allowed back out on the mud line. And it'll probably be, I got time once, I was doing it every 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, that bait will be going in for an hour. And you might have them swirling after 10 minutes. Now, I've changed my mindset. If it was just a normal open, I wouldn't go on them for an hour. But obviously, these big competitions, fish oils, golden reels, mavers, you see them swirl, you get on them. There's no waiting for them. I nearly swore then. Sorry, folks, I nearly did. I restrained myself. So you've got to get on them straight away. And then you can decide then how often's right. Sometimes it might be every 40 seconds to a minute. Sometimes you might want to do it more frequently. But I think one of the most important things is once you've hooked that fish, if it's a great big wobbly thing or something like that, is to keep that bait going in, because obviously everyone's in the same boat around you, and if they're feeding more often than you, they're going to nick them. I'm an absolute nightmare. If you're near me, I'll be trying to nick your fish, folks. I do apologise, but it's just one of them things. Obviously, fish are fickle when they're feeding, when they're starving, when they're hungry, and in that frame of mind that they want to be eating, they're going to be going from one angle to the other. So whoever's feeding the most, or not so much the most, in the correct way, correct manner, they're going to have the best results. You like that, Rich?
Nice. What's
I'm standing. Yeah, aren't I?
You've got a chance to speak, haven't you? What's when you're actually playing them? What's your technique on actually feeding? Do you just ship straight back to the top, get and feed, or?
It's how you hold your pole. So basically, when I'm fishing long pole, anything basically over 11 meters, I'll always put. I'm not asking you how you hold your pole, Rich. Cheeky.
I'll be like this.
You want to put your pole over both knees, so your pole's flat on your elbow and you're supporting it. When you're fishing shallow, certainly on a snake lake, you might only be fishing it from 6 to 9 meters or something. So you've got it on one arm. So the way I'm facing you now, folks, I'll be facing that way. That hand will be over my knee, and this hand will always be my bait tray. So I've hooked a fish, I'll feed it, ship back, unship, feed again, give it a strip, feed again, and then go to net it. And that's usually the process. Certainly for F1 fishing, carp are completely different. You'll have seen, obviously, we've done videos on this, haven't we, Rich? I don't unship it all on hide.
Yeah.
So again, the same principle, hook the fish, feed, ship back, pole's still attached, net the fish, bring it in, into your lap, feed. And it's that principle, just keeping that bait going in all the time. It's so important. But ultimately, it's letting the fish tell you where they are in the depth of water. Obviously, 5 goes through. Now, bearing in mind, depending on what depth you're at, traditionally, shallow fishing is going to be from sort of 12 to 18 inches. If I've not had a bite, 5 goes through over the course of 40 seconds to a minute. That rig will be coming back, and obviously I've not had a bite. That tells me that the fish are a little bit deeper. So you go a little bit deeper until you find them again. Now, you might have pushed them a bit deeper by feeding too much. So that's when you've got to try and experiment, basically, and just feed a little bit less. Maybe not as often less. I mean, less quantities to bring them up, though, and get them competing. Mate, I could go on all night. Come on, let's get on it, Rich. You're loving this, mate.
We're like, there's more comments coming through than we're answering at the moment, so we might have to do some quick.
Go ahead.
When Ian Lally, when fishing shallow, where do you want the band to sit on your hook?
Right, so I'm going to show you, because I've got some tied up, folks.
Have you?
I'm going to show you. I've not got many.
Is that all you've tied during lockdown?
That's since last year. I want to show you, because I keep banging on about the Guru hooks to nylon and how good they are. So I've got some here straight out of the packet. Let me get them.
Did you put them in the box? So it looks like you tied them.
No. I want to show you the difference between. So can you see that there? I'm holding up right. Can you see that there? That band is a little bit too far away from the hook. Basically, this band here can sit on the back of the hook like that. Is that got in right there, Rich?
Yeah, you can just about see it.
Yeah, so it's sitting too far away. So basically, what you want is for the band. Here's the ones that I've tied myself. You want that band to sit there. Can you see it?
Just
straight on top of the hook. So you've got a mil, no more than 2 mil at the most. Look how shaky my hands are. Shaky. Well, that's how you want that band to sit. So the fish sucks the bait in and it takes your hook as well. If it's too far away or around the back of the hook, it's no good. Does that answer the question?
I think so.
I forgot what the question was now, Rich.
We're meant to be answering them quick, but there we go. Next one, while you're putting them away, Ben Wilbur. If you had to pick between feeder and hybrid, method feeder and hybrid for the rest of your life, what would you use?
Hybrid every day of the week. I can't remember the last time I fished a method. It was probably 2-3 years ago. Hybrid is so easy. You swing it in, one plug, put your bait over, another plug, chuck it in again. You know what I mean? Obviously, method. Back in the day, we could use elasticating methods. I always used to use the Cobra ones. So I'd have 2 or 3 on the go. So I'd chuck it in, wait for a bite, and I'd be making another one up. So I could unclip it on a snap link swivel, put the other one on, chuck it in dead quick. But obviously, fish safety rules and all that, it's inline feeders only now. Obviously, the Guru ones are a little bit different. What the Guru ones called, Rich? The ones elastic through the quick change ones. X-Safe, yeah. The X-Safe system. I do apologise. I may or may not have had a few crackens. That's a little bit different, but hybrid over a method any day of the week. definitely. What are you saying, Rich?
I don't know. I kind of go hybrid just because it's easy, for no other reason than that.
I've run out of drink.
In one.
Let's get some more, haven't we? Go ahead, Vic.
Sean Froggatt, do you lads think it's been just as important for yourselves doing the challenges and that with winning ways, getting back to just having a laugh and catching fish with your mates?
I mean, obviously, if you know me, then you know what it's all about. It's all about, first and foremost, just having fun with your fishing. I always like to think I'd have a laugh, and obviously, being out with the likes of Rich and Jay, we just get on so well, and we just gel, don't we? And it's brilliant. That's what fishing's all about. I mean, obviously, we take the mick out of Jay a bit, with his questions, how do we get sponsored and all that. Folks, just go out, enjoy your fishing, let your results do the talking. It's so right, and you've got to have fun with it. It's a fantastic sport. It's brilliant. Once you get hooked, that's it. It's done dusted.
Well, I think, especially the match fishing side of things, it has a tendency. Diet Coke. It has a tendency to go almost too technical a lot of the time. It gets a bit.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, and I think it puts a lot of people off. So I think all the challenges and stuff like that, it's more of a just having a laugh with it, and you get more of your general anglers, which then some of those will probably end up going into match fishing off the back of it. So yeah, it all helps.
That's one of the things that we wanted to focus on when we were winning ways, Rich, aimed at everyone, not just sort of like go, obviously myself and Jay open match anglers, Rich a little bit as well. He has qualified. You qualified for a few, Rich.
Second,
but we wanted to go down the route of attracting everyone into fishing, even those who've never ever fished before, just getting them into our wonderful sport. And hopefully we've done that. Some of the messages we get is fantastic, Rich, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's all about attracting everyone into the sport and everyone enjoying it.
Richard Thompson, Andy, do you shop your rigs at home or do you do it on the bank?
I'm exactly the same as Jay. So tie my big loop at the end, put my float on, tie my little loop at the bottom for my hook length, put it on a winder. That's it. I shot it on the bank because it's Rich. We have so much time to open a match, don't we? We'll have like an hour and a half. How long was it the other day at Summer Bound? We had like 3 hours or something.
I think it was ages. Got to do like a whole tour of all the other lakes and have a chat to a few people, didn't you?
I think Holcroft was the same as well, and that Silvers final. I had like 2 days to set up. I only set 2 rigs up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I came for a chat with you, but then I couldn't work out where you were, so I didn't come see you.
Did you get lost?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'd have had a chat with you and everything.
Oh.
I was lonely. Lonely. Yep. Why are you so lonely? Go on, mate.
You had all them bream to keep you company. You were all right.
Oh, yeah.
Alex D. For a beginner on the pole, when fishing matches, should you build more than one swim or concentrate on just one?
For a beginner on the pole?
Yeah.
What, match fishing, Rich, did you say, sorry?
Yeah.
You've got to have more than one swim, mate. Obviously, if you're concentrating on one swim and you've got anglers around you, you've got 3 or 4 in a go, your fish is going to be nicked. Simple as that. You need minimum of 3 swims, and you can cancel them out later on. So let's take a typical Snake Lake, for example. So you want one for a cross, start off across. The commotion of everyone walking around the lake naturally pushes the fish over. You want one down the middle where it's deeper water, where hopefully you're going to catch a few shallow. I'm just obsessed with shallow fishing, aren't I, folks? Then obviously one down your edge. If you're right-handed, it's natural to go to the left. Obviously, vice versa, left-handed, go to the right. Once you get used to it, that's when you can bring both margins into play. But certainly in the summer, just one swim across. You don't need to bother with like multiple swims across. You sometimes do in the winter, especially when you're dobbing. But this time of year, 3, 4 swims at the most. That's all you need. Otherwise, it'll just do your head in, and you'll be like, "Where did I put bait? What am I doing? Bait here, there, and everywhere." Is that right, Rich?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the biggest thing I found kind of starting out as well was almost trust yourself a bit. Where just because one person catches one fish on something else, if you're sat on the short pole starting off and then someone catches a fish randomly on a method, that was always my thing.
Oh no, I've not set that up, and you go and set it up. No, just fish your match. That's the massive thing that obviously you would have seen as well, Rich, is fish your own match and just play to your strengths. Don't get drawn in by what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think a lot of the time if you're like looking down the lake and you can see 5 or 6 anglers, they all might just be catching 1 or 2 fish each, but in your head you always think they're catching a load more, and you sometimes are falling behind. But
mate, you'll be stood up mugging, wouldn't you? You'd be like this. Oh, there's one thump.
It will be soon, won't it? Can be seen.
I don't know. Depends when we get out, mate. We might have missed it.
Well, they were looking like muggable in the pond at home. We've got like a few kind of the blue orph and little goldfish and stuff in there. And they were like, well.
Have you had a go for them? Rich, have you had a go for them?
I had a scoop one out. There's two golden tench as well.
Instant win, mate. Done.
Won it. Sean Lynch, are flat floats best in deep or shallow water?
Depends. Obviously, if you've got a lot of flow in it. I've used flat floats on still waters before now with a lot of undertow. Certainly, there was a peg at Cudmore on the Arena Lake, loads of barbel around it, peg 32 or 1, there was an aerator there, and it always used to be on. I fished a flat float in that before now, rock hard balls of my course, and caught loads on it. Traditionally, it's used in deeper water, for inching through or holding back hard, but it depends on the conditions. Simple as that.
Nice. Would you ever consider using a banded spade end hook for F1 shallow fishing?
Right, so obviously the hook ties, the Gizmo hook ties are fantastic for this, and I have used them because I thought, well, you can get away with like a dead light hook. Obviously, spade ends are a little bit lighter than eyed hooks, but then when they're in that feeding frenzy, it does not make a blind bit of difference. So I've just gone back to eyed hooks. It doesn't really matter, to be fair. Yeah. And what I found with that Gizmo, you could have it, you couldn't get it tight enough to the back of the hook. You know what I mean? You couldn't whip up enough. On my, I don't want to get my hooks out again because they're all over the place. You can whip right up to the bend of the hook when you're doing an eye, so you can have that band right tight to it, as I've just shown you before. But with the Gizmo, you couldn't whip up enough time, so it was always sort of like, you could get it close, but it was always sort of like halfway down the shank. Does that make sense, Rich?
Yeah. I've, to be honest, I've got the attachment for it, but I've never actually attempted to use it.
It's good. It's proper clever, mate.
No, I like them for your like normal spade end hooks and everything. They're bang on, but yeah, I think for bands and stuff, just your standard eyed. Paul Wren, where's the best place you've ever fished in the northwest?
Partridge. Yeah. Simple as that.
Nice, quick one. Ian Smith,
commercial wise, yeah, commercial runabout.
What would be the best natural then?
Oh, Riverdane. Come on.
It wasn't that good when we went.
Riverdane, innit?
Shocking.
Nowhere better,
mate. Ian Smith, do you use the map pole bump bar? If so, how good do you value it as part of your kit?
Personally, no. Obviously, I've tested it. We've been out and done features with me testing it, but I can't stand bump bars. I proper hate them. But I honestly believe, I'm not just saying this, folks, I honestly believe ours is the strongest on the market. It's ridiculous. James Dent was heavily involved in the process of it. I was England international, fantastic bloke. Bit beardy though, isn't he? You know what I mean? Bit beardy. But he was heavily involved in the design of it, and it's proper strong. It's solid. And obviously, the beauty of it's reversible. So you've got like the ripples on one side, you can turn it over so it's smooth. So you're doing like a pole feed on a river or something. But for my fishing, I can't be doing with them. When I'm coaching and I see people with them, I'm like, what's that doing? That's the first thing off the box for me because it just gets in the way. But obviously for like natural waters and that, yeah, definitely come into play for like holding back hard, flat floats and all that.
Because Geldart's obsessed by him, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them, you like proper sit with it between your legs and all that, and that's what they're designed for. But when I was testing it the last time, the final sample, we went to Woodlands View on Front Deans. It was cold, but the F1s were having it. Now, obviously, normal fishing, you get that little bite and you're straight into them. Now, when I was on the using the spray bar, I missed like 3 bites one after another, and I was like to Ryan, get it off, come on, I'm not using it. But then you do get used to it. Obviously, the skimmers moved in after that, and you could be a little bit delayed on the strike, which is why it's perfect for natural waters. But for F1s, nah, get it off, fish normal.
But yeah, I think sort of like an interesting one on that is they were behind the scenes. They were working on that when I was still there. So that is...
Oh, blooming hell. Was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
It's going to be at least 18 months, if not a bit more. And
yeah,
come out. So that kind of when people are asking on Facebook, they're like, oh, is this coming out? Is this coming out? There's that many things in the pipeline that are being worked on.
Honestly, folks, we've got loads in the pipeline.
But it's going to be the same at all the companies where they're like, well, we're working on it. The actual time scale between an idea and a discussion to an actual finished product is probably a lot longer than most people think. So, what on earth? So the username is Gandalf the Grey rides to Isengard.
Nice.
Andy,
Lord of the Rings fan.
is that what it's from? Andy, what club were you a member of?
Oh, mate, I've been a member of loads of clubs. So back in the day, obviously, I did all my junior fishing with Middlewich, Elworth, Congleton, Lymm, Bay Moulton, Jodrell Bank Anglers. Who else? Warrington, Northwich, Sandbach. Just goes on and on. There's loads. Prince Albert was one I never joined, really.
That's the worst name for a club ever, isn't it?
There might have been a prince called Albert, though.
It just puts me off, Joe. It's just wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, you've got some proper waters, though, to be fair, Rich, on the Severn and all that. You've got some waters near us as well.
They've got some proper like cart waters as well. But they're proper serious on it, aren't they? They have to like go for interviews and stuff.
Oh, they're like lock and key and everything. Yeah, you can't get nowhere near them.
Because I applied for it, then like 3 or 4 years later, I got a letter through. Oh yeah, you can come here for an interview. And then I think I got scared and didn't go for the interview.
You didn't get scared, Richard. Come on, mate.
John Isherwood. When would you hook corn direct, and when would you use a hair rig?
I don't fish corn, to be fair, but basically, if you're fishing bait straight on a hook, then obviously you're going to use corn sort of like on a pole. Hair rigging for me is corn on a bomb or a waggler or something like that. No, not a waggler. You hook corn straight on the waggler, just on a feeder or a bomb.
Yeah,
simple as that. Everything else, you hook corn straight on a hook. But remember when we did the corn one at
Westwood? Not Westwood.
Herringbrook, wasn't it? The first one. And like Jay's like, right, come on, Andy, I want to see how you hook your corn. And he's like, what are you doing? Because I hooked it dead way. I hooked it through the side. Because my way of thinking is, you hook it through the side and you bend your hooks resting against the edge of the corn. But he went straight through the top, didn't he?
Wasn't that a thingy? That was a Western one, where he was moaning it was a wrong shade of yellow.
Could have, we've done another one there, but we did. Oh, it could have been actually. I don't know, mate. I like cracking.
Andrew Pearson, is the indoor fishing centre worth a visit? Is it open to the public?
I think it's open to visitors. I mean, obviously we've been through this loads. For its purpose, it's fantastic. Applecast North West, fantastic. Job that you're doing there, folks. Get on it. But I don't think it's open. They've got that open water, though, haven't they? I don't know if that's open for dating. I don't think it is, but it might be. They had that lake outside, didn't they, Rich?
Yeah. I think they have some. It's more of a. I think it's not a fishery, is it? I think it's probably best called like a coaching facility or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I have upset Kinky Pellet because I've missed his question, so I'm gonna do it now because I don't want to.
Go on, mate.
If ghosted top kits make a difference, or ghost white top kits, why can't you buy whole white poles?
I don't think they do make a difference. They don't make a blind bit of difference. It's still casting a shadow on the water. It's confidence, mate. If you think it makes a difference, it's like additives, flavourings, this, that and the other. If it's up there, you think it makes a difference, it's going to work for you because you've got confidence in it. But the reality is, it does not make a blind bit of difference. I can't remember. It might have been you said it last week, Rich. When you see a seagull fly over water when it's sunny, it's still casting that shadow, isn't it?
So I think he kind of did it as a 2-part question. So if you're building up a shallow line, he doesn't want his 5, 6, and 7 sections kind of going over the top of it, or whatever sections it might be.
Right.
So if you're feeding a shallow line, do you always try and do it?
5 and 6 sections would be white in that.
Do you try and kind of keep your shallow line to one side or something to avoid the shadow going over it, or do you not
a chance. When them fish are in that feeding frenzy and you're bringing them back from that far line, it does not make a blind bit of difference. When they're in that frenzy, the fish are used to fish swimming through one another and all that. How many times have you had it where you bring it through and you see fish go waving off? You hardly ever see it. It does not make a blind bit of difference.
Yeah, I think it's only in shallow water, isn't it? When they don't want to be there, but they will go there.
Yeah, definitely. That's obviously when the longer line will come into play and everything like that. Or a ledger bomb.
Don't what?
Yeah, what about it?
Anthony Gomi. I'm terrible with names.
Mate, come on.
I'll just call him Anthony. Ant wants to know, What elastic do you put in your shallow kits when fishing for carp between £3 and £6?
£3 and £6. So these two bad boys. If we were fishing now, I'd be on that. The pink 6 to 9. I mean, elastic rating, anything basically from a 6 or a 7 through to like an 11 or 12. When it's in the summer, I'll put that through, and that's it. For short kit fishing, I don't use anything else. Them two elastics are awesome.
Yeah.
When it gets like proper warmer for like big angry things, that goes in. When I'm talking like £6 plus fish, and I don't go any heavier than that. The only time I'd use something like that would be when it's snaggy and that.
Yeah.
Told you I was prepared tonight, Rich, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, I think that as a kind of coverall, that white map stuff or white hydra, whatever brand you're using, that is sort of in the summer where you're fishing carpy F1y sort of venues and you don't really know what's in there. That's the sort of starting point, isn't it?
It's just you can't, especially through an F1 kit. It's just amazing. Ding.
Philip Goodall, what is the strangest bait you've ever caught a carp on or a fish on?
Right, I talked about this the other day. So Daddy May used to make this carp mix. He used to get like an old handkerchief, mash a load of Weetabix in it, get some spam, mush it all up, get some brown sugar, put that in it, then pour boiling water in it. Then he used to get it into a bowl and then just sort of like rinse it out and just mix it up. Then he used to put it on as a paste. And he just used to freeline it on this carp water, Cape Stone Hall. He just used to freeline this like ball of meat paste like that, and it was ridiculous. He caught so many fish, and I tried it on a few junior matches on Holt's Pool and Spring Pool in Middlewich, and I won with him. Like when there was like carp weren't really carp. No, that sounds wrong. So carp weren't really like the dominant species of these waters, but if you caught one, you'd win the match because you used to win on like 3 or 4 pounder catching tiny crucians or roach in that. So to catch a carp, that's it, you won. I remember playing one for 3.5 hours once. I was only young, I was only little, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Well, I did actually.
Why did your eyes light up when you heard Cape Stone Hall, Rich? Have you been there?
And it's like proper like old school carp water. That
amazing, mate. It's amazing. The little pond, the little stock pond, as you drive through on the left hand side. Me and Daddy May used to fish that every night in the summer after school.
Is that the one that's got an Indian on the banks of it? Like Indian man?
You might have. Oh, who have we got here? We've got someone coming in. Oh, we've got a princess. We've got a Princess Leia. Come round, darling. What have you got? What have we got?
Oh,
come on. Oh, got a Princess Leia.
You done drawing and everything?
Stay home. Oh, we've got a little message for Boris as well. Get well soon, Boris. Thank you, NHS, and thank you, the key workers. Look at that, folks.
Nice. You're going to clap for Boris in a bit?
Are you going to clap for Boris in a bit, Leah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, look at her, folks, with a lipstick on. Who are you trying to impress? Got to get past the daddy first.
Go now.
Right, darling. You've got perfume on as well. If only it had smell-o-vision. Tell you what, wouldn't you? Look beautiful, darling. What princess are you?
Don't know.
You don't know?
No.
You can be Princess Leia, can't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that Star Wars? Princess Leia?
Yes, it is. Go on, Rich. On it, mate, ain't you? Mwah. Thank you for that, baby. I'll show you that in a bit. We're going to show it in our windows, can't we, later? Thanks, darling. Bye-bye.
But yeah, strangest bait. I think I was having a think on this earlier. I think we were playing about on a feature. It was with Mark Malin, and
all right, okay.
It was
legend. Looking Mark.
You know them squash'em sweets.
Oh, like the pink pastel ones.
No, the pink and white sort of like squash'em. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all like different. Whatever.
They're quite soft and everything. And if you punch them out for like as an alternative for bomb and bread that doesn't come off, it's mega. Like we had to play with it, and it smells and everything. It smells quite nice. But they're dead buoyant, and they don't, because it's quite tough and rubbery almost. They don't come off. So if you're fishing bomb and bread, and you're leaving it out, or you're not confident in it because it keeps falling off, they're like bang on.
Oh really?
Yeah. Little egg.
Mate, you're giving all your tips away, Rich, aren't you? You're supposed to tell me them in secret.
Don't fish in winter, do I?
Though. Don't what, baby?
Cold, isn't it? Right, we've got sidetracked there. I feel.
Oh yeah, sorry.
What's
little girl came in, didn't she?
What's your? Oh, there's two questions that are basically the same. What's your favourite ground bait in summer?
Favourite ground bait in summer, without doubt, is Dynamite Bait's F1 Sweet. I absolutely love it. The colour of it might put a few people off. It's like yellow, but when that water is that colour, it does not make a blind bit of difference. And marine halibut. I love marine halibut as well. Dynamite Bait's marine halibut.
Which are both pretty much just crushed pellet, are they?
Crushed pellet, a bit of hemp in the marine halibut, obviously a lot more fish meals, a bit bigger particles, but the F1 Sweet is a lot finer. They do a milled expander one now, which is amazing. In fact, Rich, I've got some, mate. You know what I mean? Look how prepared I am. It has been opened. So F1 Sweet, this is the milled expander one. This is what is going to destroy waters when you can feed slot, Rich.
Is it better than
In
that?
conjunction with, are you ready, Rich? In conjunction with, in fact, you've seen this. That bad boy. Here's the bad boy.
I can't condone the use of dynamite. It's wrong, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Are you saying it's better than
So that was just, I had it hidden just in case you had a bait one so I could get it in. I've seen you've got your sneaky spotted fin ones down there, Rich.
Mate, you won't want to use them. They're like...
What are they? Is it actual fish food?
Like actual
no! Mate, get them minced up.
Size
You need
of
to
them.
cook them up with speed. What?
20 mil.
What?
Yeah, that's what I spent yesterday doing, is taking pictures of hook baits and stuff. So dead exciting.
Oh, so you've not made them yourself and moulded them?
Nah,
Wow.
other people do them, don't they? If you, Daz on YouTube again, if you were allowed to go fishing anywhere tomorrow, where would you go?
River Dane, without a doubt. I've got the River Dane.
Close
Oh
season.
no, it's close season.
Okay.
Partridge or Cudmore then, without a doubt.
Nice. Cudmore's going to be mad, isn't it, now they've stocked it?
Just that arena lake. Can you imagine what arena would be like, mugging wise, or well, just like normal fishing? They've done so much work with it. Cudmore fisheries, and now obviously they've had, well, all fisheries up and down the country have had the bad news, but Cudmore have done so much work with all the waters. It'd just be absolutely ridiculous. They were getting £100 in like -6 and all that. What was it like when we went the other week when we were doing a bit of filming?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they'll have had time to sort of settle in with no angling pressure, so it's going to be, carnage by the time we go back.
I can't believe I said a river. I'm sorry, folks. It must be it's this. You forget what it is, though, don't you? You're like, I've not been fishing since the season ended.
Ed McDonald, in method fishing, when do you clip up and when would you not?
To be fair, I pretty much always clip up, even in open water. The only time I wouldn't, I suppose, is say if I was having a waggler line or a bomb and pellet line and your bait was going over a big area, then generally you get the feel of the casting, so you can cast it out and sort of feather it in over the right area. And if obviously there were big fish and it was shallow water, Barston, for example, that's when I probably wouldn't clip up. But obviously all situations where you're chucking up to an island or winter time when you've got to be tight and exact, very tight, that's when I'd always clip up.
Nice. Robert John is asking, how about an Andy versus Jamie versus Rich match on Winning Ways?
Come on. Mate, you've got to set that up then, Rich. You'd get smashed right up, wouldn't you?
This is the thing, it's a good idea, and I like it, and it'd be nice to bash up you and Jamie, because obviously...
Stop it, mate. Who's going to do the filming?
That's my issue here, so we need to get, like, Tom or someone involved.
Tom, yeah, that's the point, yeah. Tom should come in on it, wouldn't he?
Or, if someone wants to volunteer to do some filming, give us a shout.
I'm good. I'm techie now, Rich, aren't I? I know how to work it.
Yeah, you can film on a laptop now, so we're getting... To be fair, those videos that you did were alright.
Am I going a bit dark? Do I need to put the light on?
A little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Or is that too dark? Too bright?
Yeah, it works, sort of thing.
What about open the curtains?
Yeah.
Better, isn't it?
That works.
Ah, that's better.
Andrew Pearson, when shallow fishing, when would you change to a jigger?
A what? A jigger?
Jigger.
How dare you? Next question.
Do you not use it?
No, it's one of them. Obviously, jigger fishing. I've only ever done it once, and that was at Benny's Lake, Lindholm. I got told you got to do it, so I did it. It can be absolutely devastating. I've seen it done. I mean, at Partridge, you don't even need that. It's literally a BB shot on a bit of line, and it's devastating on its day. But I don't know. I suppose it's the stubbornness in me. I'd sooner catch them normal. You know what I mean? By slapping the rig and holding a tight line, and if you're allowed like real short line pull tips to float. But obviously, don't get me wrong, folks. I know that some situations, a jigger or that politically incorrect word, for the
The-
shot.
The direct line method.
Yes, the M rig is far superior on its day. It's just one of them things.
Yeah.
Personally, I've only ever used it once, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah.
I think Jay's only ever used it once as well. But
Have
he's
I-
got 240.
Oh, this is like my area of expertise, then, isn't it? I've used it like 5 times.
Go on, Rick. Talk us through it, mate.
No, I think like when you want to use a direct line, but you're not allowed because of fishery rules, and use it. But where it's 100% only for F1s, carp it's useless for.
Yeah.
And I think it really comes into its own on deeper venues where you've got like not 6 to 9 foot, maybe a bit more, where you want to be fishing kind of 3-4 foot deep. Where for normal shallow rigs, it's a pain because it's going to be too slow or you can't control it. But you can just suspend a bait at sort of like 3-4 foot, and you can empty it. That was on, is it Loco at Lindome, where it's quite deep on there.
Yeah, they've got bigger F1s in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did all right on there, didn't you? You
Yeah.
had smashed bagger up, didn't you?
Don't know, it doesn't sound like me. Don't think so. No.
No one's smashed bagger up.
no one's beaten him on F1s, are there? Let's be honest. Ian Scott, do you think there should be a fixed set of rules for commercial fisheries?
100%. I mean, when you go to Barston or somewhere like Cudmore or Herringbrook, it's such a breath of fresh air. The rules are so relaxed, obviously. It's brilliant. All the anglers know where they sit. The thing what does my head in is, because I haven't got a clue what I'm catching. When I'm catching fish, I just post it in the keep net. I just want to, like, everywhere to have a set 3 or 4 net reel and split your fish. That's all I want. You know, these weight limits are 50, 60 pounds. You like that? You're constantly up there for like someone like me who doesn't like take note of it or anything like that. Or I generally haven't got a clue what a fish weighs. I'm like, no, what I'm doing, what I've got in that net, what I've got in this one. You don't want to be thinking about it, Rich, do you? You know what I mean?
I think it's harder when you're swapping and changing between venues. So if you're fishing qualifiers or if you're just fishing club matches where you're at different venues every week, it's just hard to remember everything and keep track of it. And I think a lot of the time it's not anyone intentionally breaking rules or anything like that. It's just you might fish a method that you forgot to check or you're not 100% sure. And it's, even if you're asking other anglers, you don't know if they're telling you the right things either, do you, at the end of the day?
I could understand bait limits. I haven't got a problem with bait limits. It's the net rules that do my head in, Rich. You know what I mean? And even so much as like hook size and all that, fine with that. But
yeah, lash limits and stuff like that, where if you knew everywhere it was going to be 6 inches, 10 inches, whatever,
you do it.
You could tie everything, make it work. But because it changes so often, I think that probably makes it more confusing to everyone and everyone coming into it.
There definitely needs to be a universal set of rules.
Oh my lord, I've just lost track of where I was in the questions.
Come on, Rich. I thought you were the IT person. Sort yourself out, mate.
Fishing down. Yeah, we're going to have to blast through a lot quick now. We've got like 10 minutes. Ground bait, particles, or micros down the edge for big carp?
All depends on the venue. Basically, if it's 2 foot and less, go ground bait. Anything a little bit deeper, maybe particles. Nice. Simple as that.
Dave Bulldog, what elastic would you advise for bream, 2 to 4 pound, and eyed when fishing shallow?
Our map, the 3 to 6 is fantastic stuff. You're coming out of using solids now. I mean, obviously, if you know there's no carp in there, you still get away with 6 or 8 solid, perfect. But if there's odd carp or F1 around, then you need a hollow. So 3 to 6 is perfect.
Nice. Joe Farley, what 13-metre pole would you recommend for a young angler on a budget?
I mean, there's so many poles out there for like decent money. 101 and 201, the map 101, the map 201 poles, fantastic for the money. All you've got to think about is the spares package and the after sales. When you're looking at these poles, just think about them. I mean, the second-hand poles are fantastic as well, but the trouble with second-hand poles, you don't know what's gone on with them before, do you? You don't know whether one section has had a little bit of a dink and this, that, and the other. So it's just one of them things, isn't it? What are you saying, Mitch?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a place for second-hand. It's a cheaper way of doing it, but it's always a risk doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you are buying second-hand, then make sure it's a lot of them now, like your maps, your divers and stuff like that. All the top kits are kind of compatible forwards as well. So if you buy a pole, you know you can get top kits for the next 5 years or whatever. So that's the only thing. You don't want to be buying something that you break one section, you've spent however many £100 on a pole second hand, and because you broke one section, you can't use it. So that's probably the thing to check, is make sure sections are readily available. Dead quick again. James Bradley, have you ever fished Wold View in Lincolnshire?
No, I've never. Matty Pillay fishes that a lot, doesn't he? It's where he did the challenge with Geldart, wasn't it? Geldart smashed him up.
Oh, I've been there then.
Yeah, you've been there. No, I've never fished. I'd love to have a go of it.
Yeah, it's good fishery, I think. That, to be fair, that was one of the questions we got on Instagram as well. Is Challenge Andy May coming back?
No time soon, unfortunately, folks. We just don't get enough time. I'd love to. I do miss doing it, but it's just getting time, especially now, obviously, because obviously the bookings that I've had through April and May, I've got to put further into the year and into next year. So no time, unfortunately. I'm spending time with this beautiful chap here and Jay. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll do some live matches and stuff. That was one of the other questions. Are live matches coming? So that's as soon as we can get out again and be fishing matches, then they're coming back with you and Mr. Hughes. So I think we've got about 3 minutes left. So,
Feel as though I'm going darker.
You are, but we've only got 3 minutes, so we're all good. We've got to go.
Is that better?
Yeah, we've got to go clap Boris in a sec.
Go on, mate.
If you could think of one match that you got totally wrong, which one would it be and why?
Probably all the Kamasan British Open finals. Every single one of them I got wrong because I pleasure fished it the day before and thought I'd sussed it out, but it was completely different on the day.
Nice. How many hooks have you tied during lockdown?
7.
Well done. When would you use PVA bags, as I'm new to fishing? That's a Super Cuba.
We touched on it before, didn't we, Rich? I mean, silty bottoms, cheeky, things like that. But to be fair, I don't really use PVA bags whatsoever. I'd much sooner fish a pellet cone or fish to my strengths. It's one of them. The fishing round methods and all sorts, don't they, Rich? You know what I mean? But it's one of them. It's what you got confidence in, but I personally don't use them.
We must be behind. Kinky Pellet's asking the same question, so I've already answered that. Can we have an Andy May versus Daddy May margin match?
Daddy May smashed me up. It wouldn't even be a contest. We did have a match on the Arena Pool about 10 years ago, a silverfish match. It was in Pole Fishing magazine. That was a good match, that.
We'll get him on.
Rig, you remember when you saw it, Rich? That riggy fish with the skimmers,
mate,
the QM1.
That broke my mind. It's like, what was it, like a size 12 QM1 for skimmers on the pole and he's bagging?
18 straight through in the winter, ice on the water.
It doesn't make sense, but it works. So yeah, we need to get him on at some point.
Daddy May, Rich.
I love your Crimbo film with the cheap rod challenge. The real question is, how serious are you in a match?
Very serious. I mean, obviously, it goes back to, you've got to have a laugh with things and this, that and the other, and I love having a laugh, but I take my fishing so serious, I really do. If I'm next to you in a match, I'll be all jolly and jovial at the start, but when the match gets underway, get ready time. I go pretty serious, to be fair. I don't really.
If you're fishing a pole on a silty bottom, do you fish dead depth or try and fish above the silt, or do you fish over depth?
Over depth, 100% over depth all the time. I mean, obviously, Snake Lakes, you can find where it's a hard bottom on the slopes, the far side shelf, and then obviously the near side shelf. You like that? So this is the margin, that's the middle, and that's the far side. So the middle is where all the silt's going to collect. That's where you've got to fish over depth. Simple as that.
Nice. And we've I've missed some, so apologies if I've missed anyone.
We're going to be clapping in a minute. Come on, Rich.
Ben Wilbur, in the Winning Ways series going forward, is there any possibility you can set up underwater cameras? Basically, you need it to be absolutely gin clear. So I think the only opportunity is possibly clay pit or western pools. You can do a bit. But yeah, if you know anything else that's gin clear and packed full of fish, let us know and we'll go and have a play. But it's got to be like pristine, gin clear water.
I reckon we get away at Border on the Meridian. That's pretty clear on there, you know, Rich.
Is that the one up Scotland way?
No, in near Cudmore, Border Fisheries. I don't think you've been there.
No, there's one that Rob Swan fishes that's sort of like heading up Scotland way, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I think that's called Broome, isn't it?
Oh, it's close enough, isn't it? Right, we're literally 2 minutes to 8, and.
Oh, we need to go and clap Boris.
So, thank you very much. I'll end this one. Should be back next week because we'll probably still be in lockdown. So, 7 p.m.
Elastic in the dog's water bowl. Nice.
I know. 7 p.m. Same time, same place. Jamie will hopefully not be dying of toothache or whatever.
Hopefully he's feeling better. And as always, folks, stay home, but more importantly, stay safe. And let's go and give Boris a great big clap.
Done it. Right. Thank you very much. Ending now.